Well, I mean, the thing is, it's probably more on the difficult side to do for a bad guy, so the return on money to it probably isn't as great as some of the other scams that are going on. I mean, so you asked the question, so I'm telling you, and Craig told you it can happen, it's not common.
It takes more work, and they want to do less work.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think what's important here to know is that the more we talk about, first of all, you're not all alone in this. Everybody's going to get scammed. They're going to try. So we're all in this collectively together. So the more we talk to each other about it, if you think you're getting scammed, talk to your friends. See if they think that that's a scam. Sometimes having that second opinion will help put you in that frame of mind that Steve talked about earlier to stop. So that's the lesson that I'd like to bring give to the group, is to go out and use that power of evangelization and talk to your friends. And I'm going to ask everybody on the panel, think about one thought that they might want to share with you as we close here, because I'm standing between you and some pastry in the back, and actually I'm kind of hungry, so I'm going to go get that.
One more question.
Oh, one more question, I'm sorry, absolutely.
You mentioned something that we just got an email on, something about a Best Buy scam, and we just happened to get an email saying that our account has been charged $179.99 for a renewal of our Geek Squad membership. And we don't know if that's legit or not.
No, it's not.
Yes, that's a big scam that we've seen. I get those all the time too.
But it appeared on my credit card.
Oh, you actually were
Good charged?
charged?
Yes.
Oh, it wasn't just an email telling you you were charged on your credit card?
The email came in, and then I looked on my credit card, and it was charged on.
Call your credit
You should
card.
reach out to Best Buy,
Yeah.
number one, and see if somehow, have you ever purchased anything from Best Buy?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would reach out to them first, because sometimes you may unwittingly enter into some type of service contract with them. So I would check with Best Buy first, and if they tell you they didn't charge you anything, then reach out to your credit card company and make a fraud complaint.
You can just
But
read it.
if there's a number here.
No,
on the
don't
email.
call the-
Don't call, don't call the
Don't call
number.
Best Buy.
Look it up on, look it up and call.
That's an important point. We always talk about, all right, you go on this website, look at this website. When you go on a website, make sure you go on the correct website, okay? You spell everything correctly, because these bad actors pay to make fraudulent websites to get you at the top of the Google list. So if you type Best Buy and don't put in, use two E's, and you don't notice, you're going to call the wrong phone number.
So
And now you think you're talking to Best Buy, and you're not. So you have to be very careful when you go into these websites that you're typing it correctly, and when the website comes up, that it looks the way you expect it to look. So you have to be a little discerning with that too. Make sure if you're using the internet, you type things in correctly. And never, ever call the number that's in the email. Independently, go on a computer, look up the phone number for Best Buy. It should be an 800 number. Call that number, not the one you get in an email. Because the whole thing is trying to trick you.
Okay, but if indeed, I'm sorry, indeed it is a scam, and I contact Best Buy, how are they going to take care of my charge?
No, that's why, if they tell you that you're not enrolled in any service with them and they didn't charge you anything, then contact your credit card company. Dispute the charge.
Do you recommend going to the store itself?
I would, yeah.
It's easier. By the time it'll take you to get to the store and speak to somebody, you'll be on hold that long, probably, right? So,
Just a follow-up on the websites too, is once you get to the, like I said, you go to a site and you're gonna buy a dress or you're gonna buy a suit or whatever, and you click, go to my cart. When you're at your cart page, make sure to look up at the address up top to make sure you're on the right website still. Because what happens is they'll place ads right down near the real cart that says, click here to check out. And you click there and it's actually bringing you to an unrelated site where they're going to take your money, but you're never going to get what you bought.
By the time you're done here today, none of you will ever go on the internet.
I think, again, the lesson is to just be smart and cautious. You don't have to not go on the internet, right? And we're all going to use it, it's just the way life is. But the more we know, as they say on TV, the more power we have. So I'm going to let's start with Brian, because unfortunately I haven't had a lot of questions for you today, but we'll get there. What's your thought for the folks here in the audience?
If you take one thing away from the Secret Service side of today, it's stay away from cryptocurrency ATMs, please. If you are interested in investing in cryptocurrency, do your research and go online. Stay away from the ATMs.
Well, what about this kid that just hit his name up? Ended up in jail because he had some sort of cryptocurrency. And people left
Oh,
money
the guy from FGX, the guy that stole all that money?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and people were investing with him.
Tom Brady,
You know,
Yeah,
invested
Tom Brady.
$30 million. You mean,
Yeah.
Rock?
How can
He
you,
got the
how
money.
do you know? I don't know. I don't understand.
Right, that's smart. That is smart. All right, Matt, you're up.
Just to follow up on with Brian, there's flyers in the back here on cryptocurrency ATMs. AARP Rhode Island is currently working with the AG's office and the Rhode Island State Police to try to get a bill passed here at the State House that would put regulations around crypto ATMs. It would make it so there's a daily transaction limit, because right now as much money as you can carry is as much money as it'll take. To also require a detailed receipt that has the pertinent information needed in order for the Secret Service or the State Police or the FBI to try to get your funds back in the case. Because time is of the essence. The sooner you report it, especially with crypto, the sooner you report it, the better your chances are of getting your money back. So there's a flyer back there. If you know your state rep or state senator, there's 2 weeks left. We're trying to get it over the finish line. But yeah, just, if someone's trying to, if you get a call and it's, go buy a gift card and give me the numbers. Go to the kiosk at the laundromat. It's a scam. Don't give it any more thought than that.
The IRS isn't taking gift cards. for,
No.
And they're not taking cryptocurrency. That is, no government will accept cryptocurrency as payment. So if you ever requested to go purchase cryptocurrency to pay a bill or a tax, it's a scam.
Right?
So, when we were really younger, and I'm not that much younger than most of you, if somebody wanted to steal from you when you were in your teens or 20s, what did they have to do? They had to steal from you physically, steal from your car, or steal from your house. Now they steal from you just by calling you or sending you an email. But they can't do it without your help. You need to be a participant for this to work. So don't be the participant. If somebody asks you, never send money to somebody that you haven't looked in the eye. And I don't mean in the eye on FaceTime. I mean in the eye, that you've met personally. Chances are they're stealing from you. Never send money to somebody you don't know. That's really the bottom line. The other thing is, if you get wrapped up in these, because these people are good, fear, confusion, urgency, they're very good at what they do. At some point, try to take a second, like, this is really weird. That's your tip off. If something seems very strange, it is. Call somebody else. Call the police department. You don't have to call 911, or you can call the police department. And if it's not a scam, we'll tell you. But chances are it's going to be, we'll tell you. But we can't help you if you don't call. And you can't help yourself if you don't question when something's unusual.
Caleb.
Do you think this scam, the post office in Rhode Island province is still ongoing? Because I had a check, I mailed a check and a gift card on the same day, and nobody got the check.
How long ago?
Oh, this was probably a year or two ago. So I went to the post office and they said, and I usually go right inside. And I would say to them, there's something going on between here and the
Well,
garage.
can I tell you something to make you feel better? I've been expecting a check from Navigant Credit Union since May 1st.
Me too.
And we know they're lost in the mail. So unfortunately, that happens. But we also know, unfortunately, that there's theft in the mail system as well. And sometimes, many times, it's not by postal workers. So I'd be hesitant to say your check was stolen, probably more than likely.
Well, that could be cash officers anyway, unless somebody Washington.
I don't think these people in Providence were masterminds either, so if they can figure out how to beat the
Yeah.
postal service, there's probably other distribution centers in the country that it's happening too. Now, is it every check that goes out? No, but they know what to look for. You send checks to your grandchildren at Christmas time, going out.
Yeah, no more.
And just,
Bill,
well,
right.
the color, you know, an envelope,
No,
an envelope
no more
that's
checks in
colored,
the
right?
mail.
So unfortunately, we have no other system that we
Yeah.
can send, you know, correspondence through the mail. If you have to send a check through mail, it has to be U.S. Postal Service. Most of the time, it's gonna end up at its destination. There's a chance
I
it
had an issue with my IRS return and I tracked it. Supposed to go to Boston, the Davis Boston, and then it sat there for a day, and then it went to somewhere in California. So it was, why the hell did it go to mail? So, and I paid to have it tracked. So he said, well, Burma picks it up. And then they have no way of tracking where it went.
Right, the third party,
Yeah.
from the post office to the residents, they contract a lot of third party people, and
But
then
then they
they
don't
can't
have
check.
any way of tracking.
It's a nightmare.
So next time you'll have direct deposit, you won't have to worry about
There
it.
you go.
Yeah.
There's the answer.
Someone handed me this, so I think you're gonna be in trouble, but I have a question, a comment. The problem with we had a check for her mom. It was cashed for $8,000 instead of what was on the original check, which was $800. And it was reached out, and they wrote in. The problem I saw in that entire process, we got restitution from the bank, but someone accepted that check the first time, and then it got moved through the financial clearinghouses. It was made out to Bob Marley. Bob's been dead a while now. So somebody took that check.
Well, not necessarily, yeah, not necessarily, because he's part of the problem. There are a lot of different ways to deposit a check. Over the counter, through an ATM, through an IPK, remote deposit. So it's not necessarily, a lot of checks, a human being never touches them.
Well, somebody must have seen that check because it made it all its way back to the actual institution.
No, I get what you're saying, what I'm telling you is the way checks can get deposited today, it's very likely a human being never touched it.
Yeah, I still think we ended up at a check cashing store.
No, it could have, I'm not guaranteeing it, I'm just letting you know that it's not necessarily, not every check gets eyes on it, that's my point.
Did you have more question, ma'am? I know, yeah.
Do we have any recourse if a gift card was stolen from the mail? This happened to us, we mailed someone a $100 gift card from the Coast Guard House to someone who was celebrating an anniversary, and it never got there. And we think it was part of that, scheme that they were stealing. So it happened in late January, maybe early February.
Well, I understand the husband and wife. I understand that either the state or the feds have arrested these people, and there's, according to the news, there was a knapsack full of almost $1 million of checks and gift cards. At some point in time, that evidence, is it going to be given back to the people who have lost it, such as us, who have lost that gift card?
I don't know the answer to that. The U.S. Attorney's Office is prosecuting that case because it was a federal case through the Postal Inspector's Office. My suggestion would be to reach out to the U.S. Attorney's Office. They have, which I would reach out to one of their victim advocates that they have there that you can ask to see if there is, and I don't know the answer, if you can report that you one of the victims, but sadly I think it's difficult to say for sure that you were a victim of that particular theft. It's very likely that you were, but I don't know how they are pinpointing the actual victims of the case, but it would be worthwhile to reach out to the U.S. Attorney's Office.
I've called them several times.
Oh, you have?
And they've never returned my phone call. I called the Postal Inspector's Office in Boston. They've never called back any type of communication whatsoever.
I would imagine that postal inspectors, like any police agency, would have some kind of protocols that if they have property that's no longer needed for a case, that they have protocols where they have to get it back to whoever actually owns it. Or it would go to the general treasurer's office at some point. they must have protocols. Now, this is fairly unusual occurrence, so I don't know how the postal inspector works, but if it's like our police department, once we're done with the case, we try to get it back to the rightful owner.
Right.
Hopefully they will too.
Do they keep all that evidence, those checks and whatever until the case is?
Correct.
Yeah.
Until the
So
case
that
is
could be
adjudicated.
years from now.
And if it's a federal case, it could be 2, 3,
Yeah.
4 years,
Yeah.
right? It could be, yeah.
Yeah, what would you say, is it worthwhile sending gift cards in a card like that for an anniversary?
Oh,
Or should we
absolutely.
avoid that?
Yes, no, I don't think it's at the point where you have to avoid that, because most of 95, 98, 99% of the things you send get to their destination. I mean, now, is it a problem that people are stealing from the mail? Yes. There's billions of pieces of mail, and they can only steal so much. So chances are, 100 times you send a gift card, probably 100 times it's gonna get there. 1,000 times, maybe 999. So I wouldn't concern yourself too much over that.
All right, Michaela, I didn't forget you.
That's
I
okay.
didn't forget Steve either, but I'm gonna go with you next.
I would just say, again, you know, you have, sadly, in the reality that we are now is you kind of always have to have your guard up. You have to ask the questions. Always know that there are many resources that are available through the police department, and no question is a silly question or a call. Let us know, because if it's happening here to folks, it's happening to folks in Woonsocket, right? Or if it's, you know, by next week, it'll be there. And that's one of the things that we can best do is educate folks about all these different scams that are going on. So please report it, let us know, so we can get the word out to folks that these types of calls are happening, these emails, these are the different scams that we're seeing. And pass the information along, as Tim said, to your friends, to your family, because anyone can fall victim to a scam. It doesn't matter how old you are, where you live, how much money you have, how educated you are, anyone can be a victim. So report it, and please always reach out to us if you ever have any questions. That's what we're here for, is to answer any questions that you have and provide you with those resources.
Steve? Thank you.
So just to tailgate on Michaela, so everybody sitting on this panel represents an entity that's here to help and represent you. And don't hesitate to take advantage of that before doing something that you think, if you have to think about it for a moment, that is this legit? Guess what? It probably isn't. You go to the gas station, you put your car in the pump, you put gas in your car, legitimate transaction that goes on every day. Could something happen to your car? We'll talk about that another day. That's more just in Brian's. But legitimately, if you have to stop and think about it for a minute, there's a huge amount of caution that should go into that moment. And that's when you reach out to the AG's office, South Kingston Police, AARP, the Secret Service, your financial institution, even if it's not us. Your financial institutions, believe it or not, deal with this every day, day in, day out. And they're a good source of telling you, here's what we see, here's what you can do, and here's who you can call. Or sometimes we'll call for you.
Now, if you believe that somebody's being a victim of a scam, earlier you said it's okay to contact the police or the Attorney General's office, that the state of Rhode Island has a special Good Samaritan type of law that you can report it without being any dispersions on ourselves.
No, so yeah, so it's to reporting any form of abuse is to the Office of Healthy Aging. That is essentially the clearinghouse for reports of abuse, which is their elderly affairs. They changed their name a couple of years ago. That's where you report it. And then they then reach out to law enforcement or to my office. You don't have to give any information. You can report anonymously. So if you know of somebody that is being a victim of any form of abuse, you can anonymously report. The caveat to that is if there's any follow-up questions, they won't be able to reach out to you. But all the reporting information is confidential. So if you have a friend that you think is being abused, they're not going to reach out to the friend and say, hey, by the way, we got this report from, you know, so-and-so, they think you're being abused. It's all confidential information.
It's all confidential.
Yes, it is. Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Folks, with that, I want to thank you all very much for your attention. I know it's been an hour and a half of this talk. It's important. It's important for you to share. I want to thank our panel, Michaela, Craig, Matt, Brian, and Steve, for being here. This is the second time we've done the group like this, and we've got 2 more times throughout the state. We're going to continue to do it. So if you have any questions, please don't ever hesitate to give us a call. Randy?
Yeah, so there's pastry and coffee up here. Our panelists have graciously said that they would stay for a few minutes to discuss if anyone has a personal issue that they didn't want to bring in front of the group. So you can grab a cup of coffee and grab their ear and ask those questions. They're here for resources. We have people from the credit union, which can obviously speak on any type of banking issues, but they're here for at your disposal. So please help yourself.
Thank you all very much. Have a great afternoon.